Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, Breaker of the Seven Seals. Welcome. Sisters and brothers, I prepared a special presentation. Actually, it's been prepared for some time. I was reluctant to present it because I know many of you out there will say, oh, you're just bragging. But it's not about bragging, brothers and sisters. Not at all. It's about exposing. See, we're told that Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. Now, if you believe that, then it infers that the more mathematics you know, the more Islam you know. I mean, that makes sense, right? The more mathematics you know, right, the more Islam you know. I think that, can anybody have an argument with that? So if you don't know mathematics, then you don't know Islam. You're just talking. You're just pulling crap out of your butt and calling honey. So we got all these pretenders running around talking about they know so much Islam they know. But all you get from them is philosophy. You don't get any math from them. None at all. Philosophy. Philosophy. Farrakhan, the biggest one of all. Philosophy. All it is, you got all these fancy statements. These slick old statements, right? But where's the mathematics to back it up? Does he teach you mathematics? What did Master Muhammad say? He said, if you want to be successful, you must learn the mathematical language. Is he teaching the mathematical language? Because he's definitely not teaching you what Elijah Muhammad taught. Or one look at the lessons. That's why I know those people with him are demons or just total idiots. Because nothing he says is consistent with the lessons. Nothing. Not even with scripture. Every scripture calls him out as Aaron, as a liar, a hypocrite, a coward. So I'm going to go through a short list of some of the things, the mathematics that I know. And I know these mathematics. Short list. I'm not going to give you the whole list. I'm just going to give you a short list, give you some idea, right, of the mathematics. So you can go back and ask them, do you know what this is, Farrakhan? Do you know what that is, Farrakhan? Do you know what this is, Silas? You know what this is, Eric? They don't know these things, and we got to wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. Islam, you said Islam is mathematics, right? Mathematics, Islam. How come you don't know any mathematics? See? But we're exposing them. And Farrakhan, he's going down very fast, very soon. His days are over. He's had his 42-year reign. So I'm going to go through this, brother. Says some I may dwell a little bit, some I may. I'm just going to go through it. So you have it on the record. Anybody want to challenge me on any of this? Let them challenge me. Because everything I tell you here, I know. So let's walk through it, brothers and sisters. Let's see here. Oops. Make sure I'm not. Okay. I got several sisters working here, brothers and sisters, so bear with me because I have to do this because they're constantly interfering with my presentations. Okay, dimensions. Ask them, do they know what dimensions are? There's 4 of them. Third dimension, second dimension, first dimension, and 0 dimension. Ask what they know what those things are. Now, you know, ask them, do they know? That's what dimensions are. Okay. Move on. This will take a while because there's quite a few things here, brothers and sisters. See. This is about exposing. You ask do they know what a derivative is. A derivative. Ask do they know what a derivative is. Hey, Mr. Farrakhan, do you know what a derivative is? Gotta know what a derivative is. You're going to talk about force. Let's move on. Ooh, what happened there? What happened there? Yeah, okay. Brothers and sisters, I tell you. This is one of my backup systems here. They're As they knew what acceleration, the connection between acceleration and force. As they know what that means. Just ask them, brothers and sisters. Acceleration, force. You know, how they connect it? What does have to do with derivatives? Velocity? As they know anything about that at all. If you understand how force works and the mathematics behind it, you don't know anything. That's the fundamental principle of the universe. Move on. What about force and pressure? Do you know the connection between force and pressure? Do you know that connection between force and pressure? Yes, they know. You got a record that you can play this back anytime you want to. It's going to be on YouTube. Let's see, you can take it off. Yes, they know about the triangular theorem. A plus B equals C, and the so-called perfect triangle. Yes, they know what that is. That's important, brothers and sisters. It's not just a game. That's important. That's an important principle there. We're going to see in a minute why. Because vectors, that's the principle vectors are based on. What is vectors? That's the science of force. Force into reaction. Got to know that. You react with people all the time. That's forces, if you understand it. So you should understand that you react to people. You say you're a leader, and you guide people, and you're dealing with forces all the time. So that's what you're doing. You're a leader. You're trying to tell people how to navigate through forces, right? Because, resistance is a force, isn't it? Resistance over here for 40 years has been a resistant force. So he's supposed to be telling you how to navigate through that force. And you know this mathematics? How can you do that? You tell, give him a map and you can't read the map. You got a compass, but you don't know the difference between north and south, east and west. So if you don't know vector mathematics, how can you lead people? Because that's what the mathematics you need to do it. Because you're constantly dealing with forces. Resistance, no, otherwise you're still constantly dealing with any interaction is a force. There's another. See, that's vectors again. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. You understand what that means? Vector equations. Now that I'm still dealing with vectors here, the mathematics behind it. This is very basic here. You can get very complex. I'm not doing that here. I'm just showing you, do they know the basics? If they don't know how much is 2 plus 3, how in the hell they can tell you they can add? They definitely can't multiply. Vector components. How to determine the components that make up vector. If you got a reaction, you got to figure out what was the action. Here's the reaction. But what was the action? Like they have a car that gets accident and the car is knocked over here. Well, what was the actions, right? The force that caused that to happen. That's the mathematics. You need to know this. You got the action. Now, how do you find? You got the reaction. How do you find what the actions were? Because it reacted to something. So what was it reacting to? So you got to determine what that was. What is. Example, vector interactions. You're trying to get people on the right course. They're going the wrong course, so you vector. That's what you're doing. You're trying to convince people. That means you're applying a force to their mind. You're applying a mental force to their mind, to their mental force, and you're trying to change the direction. It's an interact. Do they understand this? Eric, Silas, Farrakhan, that's mathematics. Do you understand what it means to have 360 degrees in a circle? Do you understand that? You have any idea what that means? How about 180 degrees? Do you understand every triangle has 180 degrees? Every triangle has 180 degrees. Why is that? What does that mean? Trigonometry. How much trigonometry do they know? It's about angles. See? In this picture right here, that top thing on the side, okay, that's the sun. And the green, that's the earth. So how do you know different, how far it is from the earth to the sun? Let's go in there. How do you know the difference between the earth and the sun unless you go in there? See? And that's where trigonometry comes in. Angle. The science of angles. That's how you can make that determination. Science of angles on triangles. The combination of the two. Because every triangle has angles. So the mathematics of those angles is how you can determine the distance for something that you don't go there, but you can figure out how far away it is. Trigonometric angles. Right? Ratios. What's that? What a ratio is? Farrakhan, Silas, Eric, Seventh Angel. What's the other guy? Melchizedek, Yahweh, Ben whatever. You know any of this stuff? Islam is mathematics. Islam, you know any of this? It shows you that two angles, direct, if they're different sizes, but they have the same angles. Okay. That's important. That's just another example of that. It's important. Same thing again. 380 degrees there. A right triangle has 90 degrees. That's the one at the bottom on the left. That's the right triangle. Every right triangle means there's 90 degrees there. That means the rest of two add up to 90 degrees. Because every triangle has 180 degrees. So if you got 90 here, the other two add together has to be after 90. 90 plus 9 is 180. Science of angles. That's what trigonometry is all about. Science of angles. Did you know that, Farrakhan? Did you know that, Silas? What about the science of pressure? Well, whole reality is based on pressure. Universe is pressure. It's contraction and expansion. It means tension and pressure, which is tension opposite of pressure. Tension pulls things apart, pressure pulls things together. That's our whole reality is based on pressure. Do you know the science of pressure? You know the mathematics of pressure? Temperature, volume, collisions. It's just three variables: tension, volume, and collisions. You understand that? The more you put in it, the more higher temperature is going to go. That's the idea behind pressure cookers. Okay. That's the science behind pressure cookers. but it's also everything in your whole body. You know, your reproductive system, your heart, your lungs, all that pressure. You know, high pressure, your lungs, pressure. Your heart's pumping. Your whole system is with breathing, and plus the atmosphere. Whole reality is pressure. So, do you know the mathematics of it? How can you say that you from God, see, and you're the one? You lead the people through this resistance, which is pressure, and you don't know the science of it? So I know you must know this, Farrakhan. I know you must know this, Silas. I know you must know this because you're the one, right? Here's collisions, see? Collisions. See? That's three variables. It's kind of redundant because they call collision pressure, but the whole thing is pressure. That's just their misunderstanding in this language. Okay. What about trigonometry again? Remember, sines of angles. They get angles names. See? Sine is the hypotenuse, which is that slope, right? Is you divide the horizontal by the slope. That's the name of that angle, right? It's called sine. The angle on the other one, the vertical, right, divided by the slope, that's called cosine. It gives angle sines. And the right triangle down there, the one on the bottom left, I'll tell you, the right triangle, that's called a tangent. It's the height, it's the vertical line divided by the horizontal line. Right, that's correct. No, I got it wrong. It's a horizontal line divided by the vertical line. That's called tangent. Just give them names. That's where those names come from. Sine, cosine, tangent. Just give them names. Yeah, that's trigonometry. It's the basis of it. You gotta determine the area of a triangle. It's height times width divided by 2. Because it's half of a rectangle, right? If you know how to find the area of a rectangle. What about algebraic, in algebra? Can you solve that equation right there? That's a basic, simple algebraic equation. Very simple. It gets much more complicated, 1,000 times more complicated than that, 10,000, 100,000 times more complicated than that, right? Yet, 1,000 more complicated than that. That's simple. Can you solve that? Can you solve that, Farrakhan? Can you solve that, Silas? Can you solve it, Eric? 7th angel, Melchizedek, Yahweh Ben, whatever? Can you solve that? That's an algebraic equation. A simple one. Then you got calculus. You know any calculus, Farrakhan? Mr. You're son of man now, right? You got to upgrade. So you get upgrade on your knowledge. Do you know what that is? It's called an integral. You know what that is? Calculus. That's the basic formula for integral. You know what that is? You have any idea? You know what it's used for? It looks pretty sign there, but do you know what it looks for? What you use it for? Oh, and that's the opposite. Because everything has opposite. Like I said, a lot made everything in pairs. So they got addition, you got subtraction, you got multiplication, you got division. So in calculus, you got a derivative, which is going down and going up, down, what? Remember I said the dimensions in the beginning? That's the basic. That's what calculus is based on. You go up dimensions and down dimensions. So a derivative is going from like third dimension down to second dimension. What does that mean? Do you know? Have any idea? That's how you determine force, among other things. That's derivative. You know what it is? Have you ever seen it before? You have any idea? Mr. Farrakhan, the leader, the son of man, wasn't supposed to get us home. I mean, and they're going to do that because you got a whole string of wheelchairs or something? I mean, you get around in the back of your wheelchair? Pathetic. Oh, here back to trigonometry again. Yep. That's a trigonometric identity. Remember we said a squared plus b squared equals c squared? Based on a triangle? What? Trigonometry is based on triangles. Remember I said sine is a name of an angle, cosine is a name of an angle. If you multiply those, square those two, you get to number 1. Oh, that's interesting. Why? Why is that the case? That's a fact. It's a mathematical fact. Do you understand it? You ever heard of it before? Sine squared, that's an angle. That little thing there was a circle with a little thing in it. That's a sign for an angle. So sine this angle, plus sine the same angle, cosine angle, or that triangle, the sine of women. Just talking about the same angle, right? The sine of that angle, right, squared, plus sine of the other angle. Now talking about the tangent, the 9 degrees one, equals 1 every time. You know what that means? That's important. That's a fundamental principle. So, well, what about this? You ever heard of logarithm? You know what a logarithm is? What does that mean? Wow, that looks kind of complicated. Have any idea what that is? That's very important because it deals with, you know what exponent is? It's the mathematical exponents. Okay? Because see the bottom down there? See? What that's telling you is that if you have the log of 2, the base is 2, see? And the exponent is 3, the value will be 8, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. See? But because the 3 is the exponent. It's the mathematics of exponents. That's a whole different type of mathematics. And you're using calculus every place else. Because some problems in life are based on exponents. You have any idea what that is, brothers and sisters? I'm telling you, go ask Farrakhan. What's a logarithm? See? He probably tried to convince you it's a tree log or something. Because he pulls shit out of his ass and always tell people honey. They say, yeah, man, it don't taste like honey, it don't smell like honey, but Farrakhan says honey, so it must be honey. See, he covers health with all the honey Elijah Muhammad produced. See, and you've been sucking at honey for 42 years. But now you're getting to the shit that's under it, because he's a shit. He's just a pile of shit. He's coming some honey. So now you're starting to taste the shit. So you got past the honey. Now you're starting to taste the shit. How does it taste? How does it taste? I don't want to know. Don't tell me. You ask yourself, how does it taste? You like the taste of it? Because you sure ain't getting Elijah Muhammad's teachings over there. So you like the taste of it? Scientology and Sunniism and all the other stuff he's feeding you. While he's shitting out of a bag and pissing out of a bag that he's been cursed because he's been robbing God, as it says in Malachi. Logarithm, know anything about that? Oh, what's this? You know what a proton is, Farrakhan? Silas, Eric? What a proton is? See? A proton spins. A neutron doesn't spin. Because it spins, it produces torque. You know what torque is? They do what torque is? See, neutrons don't have spins. They don't have torque. But electrons, protons do. Torque is just electron, mathematically. See, devils don't know that. I'm telling you, and I can prove it. They don't see it that way, but that's what it is. That's why protons have electrons and neutrons don't. Because neutrons are protons that don't spin. The same thing, one spins and one don't. Anything that spins produces torque. That's why protons have electrons. Electrons just torque, but that's an all stored together. You have any idea what that is? That's a proton, yeah. See? I mean, I'm giving a graphic example. That's not exactly what a proton looks like, but it's a sphere and does spin. You don't have all the little bright light stuff come out. Like, I'm just showing that because it's graphic, okay? Here's a neutron. Okay, that's the error. It shouldn't be spinning. I took that out. My error. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. That's it. Shouldn't be spinning. Neutrons do not spin. That's the error. Big hit for it. Right. No matter how careful I am, brothers, I always miss something. Not making excuses. That shouldn't be spinning. That's a neutron. You're just black because it's not spinning. I was spinning. I show spinning being red, black being no, it's not spinning at all, but it shouldn't be spinning. So what's this? Electrons. What's electrons? You know what electron is? Farrakhan, Silas, Seventh Angel, Eric, Melchizedek, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, whatever. See? Now you're not gonna get a good graphic, but you see in the middle that's a proton. See, protons, they have, I think, 7 shells altogether. Electrons. So I'll show you that in a minute. So each one of those spheres out there represents the electrons. Electrons not lose funny things flying around like devils because they don't know what an electron looks like. You can't see an electron. You can't see a proton. You can't see a neutron because they don't emit photons. Well, electron does in a way, but they can't see it. They don't know what it looks like. It's has some idea what it does, so they try to apply some kind of mathematics to it. But it's not some little thing running around the proton like a moon going around the Earth. No, nothing close. I can prove it mathematically. There's electron shells. And what they're saying is the first shell, right, that's the orange right there, has 2 electrons. The proton's in the middle, that's the thing that's spinning in the middle. And the second shell would have 8. The third shell 18. And it's a direct formula there. See, because the formula says 1 squared, the next one's 2 squared, the next 3 squared, each one you multiply times 2. So the next will be 4 squared, the next will be 5 squared, up to 7 levels. So the next would be, if you say 4 squared, that would be 16 times 2 would be 32 electrons in that level. So a proton can have up to 7 shells, I believe. Okay. But they can't control it by itself. That gets to atomics, a bunch of protons together. But it's up to 7 shells it can have all together. And that comes in when you're talking molecule. You need that for molecules and all the kind of things. I'm not going to go into all that, right? See, because that's how they connect up together. That's chemistry. That's a whole nother subject, brothers and sisters. I'm just telling you the math of it. And so that's how you can produce molecules because of this particular structure. And it's mathematically, it's taught mathematics the reason why that's like that. It's the geometry of it. And that's about proton. Okay, bro, so there's a misspelling here. This should be photon. Again, I made an error. It should be photon. P-H-O-T-O-N. With photon, that's a light. That's how we see through photons, lights. Through photons. That's how we see. Because everything emits photons. And we get an eye, we interpret, we translate. Get the eye, our minds translate it. Photons. So where do photons come from? They come from electrons. I'll give you an example. You see the protons at the bottom is spinning, right? It has an electron there. That black thing's an electron. I'm just giving an example. And what happens is when that electron moves down a level, it takes energy for it to be, say for instance, it takes so much energy to go from the first floor to the second floor. So it took so much energy there, right? So say you go from the second floor back to the first floor. Then you got to get that energy up. Because so much energy holding you up there, but now you release it because you're back down to the first floor. So what happens is it takes so much energy. See, this is in the quantum, that's why I call it quantum mechanics, because in that level of the universe, things happen that way. It's still mathematical. There's just no fractions there. That's another story altogether. But in there, for something to move from one level to another, it takes energy to do it. And if it drops down, it has to release that energy to drop back. So right now, it's in that level. So it has to have energy, some energy to get it there. What's the energy? Photon. Photon put it there. because it absorbs the photon. That's what happens. Photons are absorbed by electrons. If they absorb it like color black, right, it absorbs photons. So it means the electrons move up to a higher level. But like white, right, it emits, so it drops down. So I'm going to give you a simple example, brothers and sisters. See here? That went real quick, right? That's it. Because photons move at 186,000 miles per second. As photons move. See? See there? They drop down. It releases the photon. The photon comes back and moves back up that level again. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Do you know that Farrakhan? Do you know that Silas? Ask them. Just go through any of this list. Ask them anything you want on this. Say no any of it. I'm just getting started, bro. Says ask them if they know any of it. I'm showing you I know it. Right here. I'm sure I'm not a fraud. So when I say I'm the master of the covenant, I'm the master of the covenant. I know what I'm talking about. I'm the one who has to get you home. I ain't asking you for a dime for it. The only mathematics they know is add subtraction, multiplying those dollars you give them to get as rich as they can. That's as far as they can go. Addition and multiplication. Period. As far as they go in their math. They know. Here again, I don't know how that happened. This photon waves. It should be photon. It's light. I just said. I looked this double. I double. How many times I went over this to make sure I had errors? Still got them. It's a photon wave, not a proton wave. Photon. Light. What lights are? Photon. Photon wave. See, I'm not going to try to explain it to you. It has crests and lows. Right? But it doesn't work like they think it works. But still the wave is correct. It's just what they think is happening is causing that wave is wrong. Magnetic waves. You know how magnetism work? You ever had how magnetism work? There's two poles. If you were somehow able to separate them into one pole, like just the north, just have a north or just south, it'd be a trillion times more powerful than gravity. It would sleep, you point it up, and you just do that thing would, it would move 1,000 times faster than the speed of light. That's how fast we go, because all that force we're pushing, because it's magnetism is like a trillion times more powerful than gravity. Check it out, Google it. Magnetism is more, like 1 trillion times more powerful than gravity. That's why some people think that's magnetism with Master Muhammad's using the power of his plane. It's not. It's something very powerful. It's not magnetism. I'm not going to say any more on that, bro. I leave that alone. I just tell you it's more powerful. Okay. Electric waves, you know what that is? You got dumb ass Ishmael. Oh man, nobody can see electricity. You ever seen an electrical arc? You ever see lightning? See, they stupid over there. You don't even know electricity when you see it. Nobody can see electricity. You ever seen a lightning bolt? That's electricity. You ever seen an electrical arc? That's electricity. I mean, you can't see it. Because he's stupid. Then he's talking about what powers the sun. He has no idea what powers the sun. So you know what electrical wave is, Farrakhan? Tell us about it. Oh, nuclear shock waves. You know what that is, Farrakhan? How fast the wave moves out? At the rate of 1 over r squared. You know what that is? 1 over r squared. You have any idea? That's how fast, right? That moves out, and that's how the stronger the blast eases out at the rate of 1 over r squared. So the further out it gets, in other words, the first blast, when it ignites, it's like a billion degrees or more. Depends on the power of nuclear explosion, right? But as it moves out, heat cools off at the rate of 1 over r squared. Do you know what that means? 1 over R squared. What does that mean? Do you know that, Eric? Because if you know that, maybe you can get out the way before you catch up to your ass. You run fast enough. 1 over R squared, that's a very important formula. Has to do with sound too. Because when you give pressure waves, you're talking, right? The sound, the intensity of the sound decreases at the rate of 1 over R squared. Same thing, because it's all pressure. Do you know that? Did you know that, Eric? Do you know that, Farrakhan? You know that Yahweh ben Yahweh? Oh, a nuclear bomb. You know how that works? You know the mechanics behind that? See? I've never made one. The problem is, I can make one if I had the material. The problem is making one is no problem. The problem is you have to enrich uranium to do it. At least that type of bomb. That's a fission bomb. And you need a lot of uranium to do it. That's why you got to purify it. See, enrich it. You know what that process is all about? What do they call those things? A centrifuge. You know what a centrifuge is and what it's for? How to use it to enrich uranium? See, when you dig uranium out the ground, it's mixed in with other stuff. It's not pure. And see, uranium is very unstable. You know what that means? That's why radiation means the atom is unstable. Did you know that? Did you know that's what radiation means? That the atom is unstable? That's why you get your radiation from water, right? From helium, because they're very stable atoms. From carbon, you don't get, because they're very, but when you get uranium, because a whole bunch of them together, why, you understand why they're unstable? The more atoms you put together, why it becomes more unstable? You have any idea why that is? Do you have any idea? So uranium has so many that it's unstable. So it radiates, so it breaks down. See? So if you would hit it with something hard enough, the atom will fly apart. You need the speed of light. That's an explosion. That's a fission bomb. That's the type they drop on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. But now they have fusion bombs, which is much more powerful. See, did you know that? Do you have any idea about that? You know what fission is? Fusion? Okay. See, atoms, made of protons and neutrons. Why do you need neutrons? And then, what's the purpose of neutrons there? You mean protons can just stick together? Do you know why? Why do you have to have neutrons there? You understand the connection? What does neutrons do? When it got hooks on it, hold the protons together? How does that work? You have any idea? Farrakhan? See, fission versus fusion. See, fission, you're breaking the atom apart. But you need a lot of uranium. But fusion, right, you see, you only need 2. Because fusion pushes things together. So fusion they use hydrogen. Because hydrogen is made of simple atoms, the simplest ones of all, hydrogen atom. They don't have any neutrons. And so you force them together. See? But there's no neutrons there, so they blow, and it's got a 10,000 times more powerful explosion than the fission bomb. Fission bomb is on the left there. You're hitting the neutron, you're hitting the atom. It's got all those uranium atoms in there, breaks apart, all directions. That's an explosion. But the fusion bomb, you're doing the opposite. You're pushing them together, but there's nothing to hold them together, so they fission based on fusion. A fusion bomb is much more powerful. 1,000 times more powerful than you can make. There's an unlimited size. You make a fusion bomb. You know why? Because that's what star is. Star is a fusion bomb. Did you know that, Farrakhan? Did you know that, Silas? You know that, Eric? The stars are fusion bombs? They're blowing up. But it's a stable blow. It's controlled explosion. It's controlled explosion that we set up and made it that way. But they're blowing up. They're hydrogen bombs. fusion bombs. They create atoms inside because the pressure inside is so great that they can force atoms together and keep them together. That's why atoms are made. Did you notice that's how atoms are made in stars? It takes stars to make atoms because they have to fuse together. There's a lot of force to fuse an atom. A lot of force to fuse. That's how they make how you think they make a hydrogen bomb and fuse it? They use a fission bomb to do it. Because they put the hydrogen bomb inside the fission bomb, and when the fission bomb explodes, so much pressure that it forces atoms together, the fusion, and then it blows up. So a fusion bomb is actually two bombs. The fission bomb that forces, did you know that? Silas? Did you know that Farrakhan? Asked them, did they know any of this stuff? I mean, they're mathematicians, right? They knew Islam must be a mathematician because Islam is mathematics, and mathematics, you must be, if you're a preacher of it, you must be a mathematician. So here you go right here. So they show you how to fission. You hit it because it's unstable and it causes it to break up easily. And that's cups. Atoms starts going every direction. That's an explosion. That's where fission bombs work. Here's another example of it. See? In fact, they're showing, this case is showing how a fission bomb ignites a fusion bomb. Because over here, right, you taking and you doing the fission on the left, and you see explosion in the center, which caused the fusion on the right. That's connected to the fission and the fusion bomb. Fission takes a fission bomb to ignite a fusion bomb. Oops. What happened? Oops. Oh. Oh. What about gravity? Let's look at gravity. Do you know anything about gravity? Farrakhan? You know, because they got this theory. Remember, Einstein is a theory. They don't know how, they know what the mathematics or how it works. They don't understand why it works. See, they can figure out, it works, this happens this way, right? But they can't figure out what gravity really is. They don't know what gravity really is. See? Master Muhammad knows what it is because Elijah said that Master Muhammad told him that's why he's going to take, and his weapon would be, he's going to manipulate gravity. That's some powerful stuff because we're going to have that knowledge when we get home. If you can manipulate gravity, you understand the power of that? That's what Elijah Muhammad said. That's what Master Muhammad told him. Maybe that's the force he's using to those planes. Because if you can defeat gravity, then you can fly anywhere. I mean, because they can't defeat gravity. The planes have to have fuel to fight against gravity, but the fuel runs out. And they don't understand the mathematics of why planes even fly. I mean, I understand it. Got a called a Bernoulli theorem or whatever, but they always put their name on it, right? Because the differential between pressure, they designed the wing a certain kind of way, and the differential between the pressure causes it lift. See? And you create that by moving it forward, so therefore then the air goes over, and the air goes over the top faster than on the bottom. So that means it's faster, right? So the pressure on the bottom ends up being greater than the pressure on the top. So it pushes up. That's another story together, bro. So I didn't include that in here. I just mentioned it. Did you know that, Farrakhan? That's why you have designed the wing a certain way to get lift. Okay, gravity. Do you understand? Now, I wrote a book explaining how gravity really works. And nobody's ever come back and said it's wrong. It's on Amazon, right? It ain't working like Einstein says it's working. He came with a theory. Well, how it actually works. See the mathematics behind it. See, I'm not going to it here. I'm just showing you a couple of pictures. And then the other question is, see, he's trying to explain, because they was never ever explain why an elephant that might weigh 800, 900,000 pounds, and a cat that may weigh 5 pounds, if they fall at the same rate. They hit the ground at the same time. You drop them together. Wait a minute, how's that? This only weighs 5 pounds. That weighs 500 pounds. It hit the ground at the same time. Can you explain that? Because they thought that was the case for a long time until somebody came to show them, what's his name, Galileo, one of those guys showed them that, wait a minute, hold it. But he couldn't understand why. They just sort of hit the ground at the same time. And they really still haven't come to a real, they still got theories on how that works. No one's come forward yet and show why that works. And I've written a book on it, why that works. See, did you know that Farrakhan? There it is. They hit the ground at the same time. See? Why is that? Because force, normal force would tell you that wouldn't be the case. For some reason, my gravity says, if gravity is a force, well, it's actually not a force. It's a force differential. That's different. I'm not going to that, brothers and sisters. But they have yet to explain it. Oh, let's talk a little angel stuff. You know what angel key is? You know, angel represents revelations. And there's a key to it. Did you know that, Farrakhan? You know Silas? You know seventh angel? You know Yahweh ben Yahweh? Did you know that? Melchizedek, did you know that? Because you can't understand, you had a key. And none of you understand it. And none of you have broken the seals. At least one thing, I don't think any of them claimed they had broken the seals. Well, they did, they were liars. Because Elijah Muhammad never claimed they'd broken them. He tried to explain what he thought was Revelation was saying. Master Muhammad never made that claim. I'm telling you, I have. That's the key. And without the key, you ain't going nowhere. All you're doing is breaking entry. That's what you do. You're breaking entry. It means you're a thief and a liar and a robber. Because you're breaking entry. See? That's the key. And those that study it, I give the key. I don't charge anything. I give you the key. I give you how to use it. Those that study and use it, they know it. It works. Opens all the scriptures, open all them up. Explains what they really mean. Okay, and it talks about chapter 12, the woman. Oh, that's the woman there. Okay. I'm not going into details about that. Did you know that, Farrakhan? You know, Silas, seventh angel. Did you know any of this? And then there's a dragon. Oh. Pasasad. Scripture tells he's not even Arab. It says in Indian, the British put on his throne, they masqueraded Arabs. So take or leave it, it's up to you. Because the angel reveals everything. That's the dragon. 7 heads, 10 horns, and a red tail. And I'm missing something there. My error again. False Israel is not there. My error again. See? That would be the seventh head. You know who the jinn are? Jinn are the ones that resisted Arab, that resisted Adam, right? But you don't know who Adam is. The Adam is Europeans. They ain't all humanity. They're Europeans. And we're the angels. It was so smitten to them. But the jinn said, I ain't smitten. That's Sunnism. They've been fighting with them ever from the very beginning. They said, I'm not going to submit to them. Because I'm doing your will. I'm doing what you gave me to do. Well, hold on, wait a minute. You're doing what I told you to do, but now you ain't doing what I told you to do, but you claim you're not doing what I told you to do, telling you to do now, because you do what I told you to do. That's what jinn is saying, right? See, because they wanted the angels. You got Sunnis say, well, the jinn could be the angels. Well, then how does he blame the jinn for not obeying when he gave the command to the angels? He said, angels submit. He didn't say jinn submit. He said angels. Then he said, oh, jinn, well, you ain't going to submit. I'm going to punish you. Well, then jinn must be angels. That's logic. I mean, if you got any brains, they're angels. But they resisted, said, I'm not going to do it. Because it said dragon and angels too, didn't they? The Bible said dragon and angels too. So they're angels, but they said they were not going to submit. And angels did. We submitted. See? But the Sunni, I'm not submitting to this system. I'm not going to submit to this because this system make shed blood. I have some sympathies to that. I have some sympathies for them for that, right? Because I mean, that's a hard call. I mean, why you got to submit to somebody that's making shed blood? Because what they're going to teach you? If you submit to them, it means you got to do what they tell you to do. So they're going to tell you what? Make shed blood. And that's a hard one, ain't it? But anyway, that was the case. That's what it says in the Quran, that you say is holy and pure and no errors in it. So that's what it says. And you the one that will not submit. That's why you won't call Adam who he is, because you don't want to reveal who you are, that you're the jinn, the resistors of this time. And the bliss was a cheap one. That means that's House of Sod. See? Specifically. See? Not Satan. That's your miscalculation. Then the golden calf. You understand angel, understand that one. That's Sunnism again. Understand the angel key. That's Sunnism. He said, Aaron, have you worshiping the golden calf? Ask him what the golden calf is. Who is the golden calf? Who the jinn? Farrakhan. Who is the dragon? Farrakhan. You claim you're the woman. Who's the jinn? Farrakhan. Who's the golden calf? Farrakhan. Who's the bliss? Farrakhan. Stardust. Seventh angel. Eric. Who are they? Who's this golden calf? Because if you don't know, how you know you're not worshiping? If you don't know who the golden calf is, exactly, precisely, how you know you're not worshiping it? How you know you're worshiping? If you don't know what 666 is, how the hell you know if you got it or not? Oh, the devil. Where's the demon? You know what demon is, Farrakhan? You know what devil is, Farrakhan? You say devils ain't devils anymore, so that mean, you know, because you're going to bring devils in the eye. That's not what Elijah Muhammad taught. That's not Master Muhammad taught. So what is that? What is that? So, you know the devil is? That's the devil right there on your left. And you're a demon because your father's a devil. So you know what that means? You see right there the sperm? You are what your father is. The sperm is a live, living thing. See at the bottom there? The egg is not moving. The sperm is. Because egg is living material. Right? But sperm is a living being. It's moving. It's got a level of intelligence. DNA. You know what DNA is? See? And so your sperm comes from your father. So if your father's a devil, you're a devil. But we call devils that black-faced devils, we call them demons. Half devil, half man. You're a demon. That's man. Y'all bull crap about one drop of black blood make you black. It might make you black. It don't make you original. You what your father is. You're a demon. That's why he loved devils so much. Don't call my people devils anymore. That's what he's saying. Don't call my people devils anymore. He can't believe his luck. It's like a Negro passing as white, somehow get control of the Ku Klux Klan. He can't believe his luck. Which kind of policy do you think he would have? Don't call niggers no more. Call them colored people. Call them African American. Don't call them. That's our time. That's our secret times. It comes some excuse. Don't call them niggers no more. Don't call them devils no more. Elijah Muhammad is no such thing. I was with Elijah Muhammad in 775. No such thing. Right off the face of it is a lie, because he told him no other minister knows anything about that. No other minister knows anything about that. So though he told Farrakhan stop calling devils, but all other ministers still do it? How much sense does that make? It's a lie. You know what your daddy is? Farrakhan. He admits his father's a devil. Just Google. Farrakhan says my father is a Jew, or maybe a Jew. He says father is a white or Portuguese Caucasian Jew. That's what he says. That makes him a black Portuguese Caucasian Jew. He's a Jew. He can't believe his luck. Say, oh, he's casting out Satan. They tell you scripture who's casting out Satan. It says Satan is casting out Satan. They fight with each other. He's a Satan that's casting out Satan. What about this one, brothers and sisters? Mind, thought. What's the difference between mind and thought? What's thought? Right? How do you move your arms? How do you move your legs? Does anything move without force? Can anything move without force? No. Show you force and pressure, the same thing. Just force spread out. That means thought must be force. It must be pressure, since it's luminous. It must be pressure. Okay? It must be pressure. So everything is pressure. Higher pressure just feels lower pressure. Higher pressure is the book that's on the scene right now that's greater than the pressure of the books that preceded it. Because that's why every time a new time comes in, a new event, right, a new season, a new book come in that supersedes the old book. That's why you don't see the books before. What's the book? The book of Abraham. Where's that book? Where's all the books? Where are those books? Elijah Muhammad said they wrote books 16,000 years ago. They've been given books up until, right? The last book we have right now is Angel. So what happened to all those books? You understand? Did you understand thought is pressure, Farrakhan? Remember, temperature is how fast things are moving. What Master Muhammad told you, thought moves at approximately 24 billion miles per second. That's temperature. But if it moves that fast, at that point it reaches harmonic motion. Do you know harmonic motion is, Master Muhammad? Do you know, ask Master Muhammad what motion is? Ask him. Ask Master Muhammad what motion, because you're not going to give him Farrakhan. Not going to give him Silas. Not going to give him Eric. They don't know what harmonic motion is. That's what Master Muhammad is going to achieve. That's why it's going to be a kingdom that's going to last forever. Enough pressure, but they can't withstand the pressure it takes to achieve harmonic motion. That's why they'll be destroyed. They can't. Master Muhammad is going to lead us into harmonic motion. And once we achieve it, that pressure takes 6,000 years to get there, to get full total harmonic motion. But to get there, the pressure it takes to get there is beyond the pressure they can handle. So they won't survive past 6,000 years. They'll be another 6,000 years, but they got 6,000 years of hell coming, because we have a new Jerusalem, a new structure, right, that will subdue them. And they will be in hell for the next 6,000 years under our control. And then there'll be just no more. Did you know that, Farrakhan? I just revealed that last week. Did you know that, Farrakhan? You know that, Silas? You know that, Eric? Because everybody questions, how long will hell last? How long will hell last? The Quran doesn't say it's going to last forever. It's going to last 6,000 years for them. And some of you. Did you know about the tyrant, Farrakhan? I know you know about that because a lot of mama talked about it. But you know, Eric, or you weren't around then. You know that seventh angel? Silas knows about it too. Why don't they tell you about the tyrant? That many of you, if you escape out here, you're going to end up with a tyrant, and you're going to be in hell for the next 6,000 years too. What did it say when Daniel took and Michael delivered? He says, he took those in the Lamb's Book of Life. And then he says, those woke up too late. Some everlasting life, and some everlasting shame and appallment. Everlasting. That lasts 6,000 years. So in other words, you had to go to tribulation. See, they didn't do undelivered, so they had to go to tribulation. It says it in the 7th chapter. It says, these came through the great tribulation. They cleaned themselves up during the tribulation. But they was able to accept it. See, because they was found, that was like a break, like a second chance to purify them, because they weren't purified by the Lamb. So they had to go to tribulation, put back in the furnace. And so they was purified. That's what it says. They purified themselves through tribulation. The fire was hot enough. They put back in the furnace to finally get it. It says the people who know that God is going to do exploit. That means now they're going to finally get it. But they have to be told by Suleiman how to get through it to begin with. And they will be of everlasting life because they'll be receptive. But the other ones, like Eric, and Farrakhan won't make it. He's going to go down with the demons. But Eric and Silas and all you clowns, you're going to have a great 6,000 years with the tyrant. See? Everlasting shame and appallment. It says, or you're allowed to have children. It says your children be tested. And if they tried and we accept them, they would be allowed to come out of that torment. Right? But they're getting it marked. Elijah Muhammad taught about this. They're getting a mark on their forehead, saying that they were the children of your children, children of the traitors, the liars. That mark would always go with them for their children after them. Everlasting shame and appallment. Elijah Muhammad taught about that. I know you heard it, Silas. Farrakhan, you know, who knows what he heard. Thought waves. You know what thought waves are, brothers and sisters? Do you know what thought atmosphere is? Do you know that, Farrakhan? You have any idea what thought atmosphere is? That's what we defeating your ass on thought atmosphere. You have no idea. Thought atmosphere, thought waves. I'm not going into details about that, brothers and sisters. See? But that's pressure waves. I'm emitting them right now by talking. Come on, brothers and sisters. You know what DNA is? You have any idea what DNA is? Farrakhan, Silas, Seven Danger, you have any idea what DNA is? That's the tree of life. Everything living has DNA. It all comes from us. We turn off DNA. They said 99% of it is inactive. So while we got DNA, all the DNA, only 99% of it is inactive because we turn on, turn off as we go. So now most of us turn off right now. But we get back to the end, beginning of time, when all life came from one being, all of it we turn back on again. Because all the attributes you see out there are some subset of DNA. Trees, animals, everything else. But we took those qualities out of us and delegate them to do things, because in the beginning, when there was one being, that one being had to do everything that you see done right now. Everything the trees are doing, everything the bugs are doing, everything, that one being had to do it all. And then turn off and release them and delegate them to take care of those things. But now we're going to take that process all the way back until we get back to the end again. Then we all turned on, and that one being will have all. All of us in there. Did you know that, Farrakhan? Did you know that, Silas? Now, Eric? I know you didn't. Because you know shit. You don't know nothing. Well, you do know shit. Probably know how it tastes, too, if you mess with Farrakhan. Chromosome. You know what a chromosome is? See? The basic chromosome is DNA. The DNA is fundamental. They produce chromosomes. See? And that has a most prominent effect when talking about male and female, because the male has X and Y chromosome, female has X and X. See? So we could all have possibly come out from the female, because the female cannot produce a male, but the male can produce both. We produce everything. We produce all the animals, we produce the devils, we still produce devils, we produce everything, because everything produces the trees, all of it came out of us. We got all those things turned off now. As we move, the universe started contracting, we had to turn it back on. Deal with the higher pressure that the universe is contracting. That's no straw together, bro. But you know that, Farrakhan? You know that, Silas? You know what a molecule is? Have any idea what a molecule is? The molecules, remember I was telling you about the shells on an atom? Those electronic shells, electric shells. See? Well, those are the binding forces. When you bind those certain ways, you get different types of molecules. I'm not going into details about that. That's what it does. Because you have two atoms. Say on the second shell, say on the first shell, they got two protons, two electrons, right? And this one got one electron. But it can have a two. So it shares that one with the other one. So now it's only 3 electrons, but they're sharing one. So from their point of view, they have 2. But the one they're sharing is connecting them together, that's a molecule. And you get infinitely types of combinations. See? What is molecules? Anyway, brothers and sisters, did you know that, Farrakhan? Islam is mathematics Islam. So you should know this stuff. You're a leader. Was a guy that's through all the resistance, the pressure, and all that. And I know you gotta know this. See? And that's basic atom, right? It's got like 3 protons and 3 neutrons there. I'm just showing that, but It's not a good depiction. That's where you see it, right? But it's not quite right. I'm just showing that. You know what this is, Farrakhan? You've heard of element table, right? This shows you, because the Earth has all the elements there are possible in the universe. How is that possible? How is it possible that Earth has all the elements that's produced in the universe in proper order, proper proportion? And only way you can make atoms is in the core of a star. So how in the hell could Earth have all of that? It's the only planet in the universe that has it. All of it, all the elements. We can do the things we're doing. And then when you get down here, where's uranium? See, uranium is 92. It's on the bottom. See? Now plutonium, did you have plutonium on here? Yeah, plutonium, I think that's Pu, right? That's even more unstable. See? And then you get down into lithium. I'm not sure what that is right there, the name of it. See? Super unstable. If they get that, easy. Because more unstable, it's easy to make a bomb out of it. That's periodic table. It shows you how many elements. The first one up there is hydrogen. See, it's only got one proton. Helium, right? Over here on the right, has 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Hydrogen don't need any neutrons because it's not holding anything together. It's just a proton. Did you know that, Farrakhan? You know that, Silas? What about computers? What about, you know anything about computers? Anything, you know how they work? You know what binary is? Off and on, they use electricity, right? On and on. The concept of on and on, that's what drives these things. Did you know they use computers to write history? Elijah Muhammad, when he's talking about, you know, they watch a bug go up and down, he didn't know about computers at the time he was saying that stuff. That's not the way it's done. They could tell precisely, you know, but that's he didn't have computers at that time. We have supercomputers that can that's why it's limited 25,000 years, not because Earth takes 25,000 years complete access, because there's so much computer power it takes to do that. So every 25,000 years they write history in the beginning, and they write the books, and that books, you know, and the books are given out chapters when they're required. And then after 20, they use that information, right, to start next, because they have to keep carrying it. Otherwise, they can't go back to the very beginning, because they start at the beginning of the universe when everything was very simple. Now it's more complicated, so you have to keep passing that knowledge on. And those computers are off planet. They can't touch it. If they couldn't do anything with it. But we need those computers to navigate the universe. Farrakhan, it said the garden is wise as heavens and earth. It wouldn't be a garden if we couldn't get out there. We travel at speeds of over 24 billion miles per second. And the only way you can do that, you have to have supercomputers that know where every atom is all the time. Because when you look out there, those stars are not where you see them at. That's like a billion years ago. The further you look out, because it takes light that long to get here, 186,000 miles per second. Something like you're seeing right now, it took billions of years to get here. So that star is long gone. So you can't go out there traveling because you're running stuff. You have to have a computer that knows exactly where stars are right now, all the time. All the planets right now, so don't run anything. Do you know that, Silas? You know that, Farrakhan? What about code? You know how to code anything? That's what I did for 30-some years, coding computers. Do you know how to code? Really? Do you? Farrakhan? Symbiotic relationship. You know anything? Do you know what symbiotic means? You have any idea? The symbiotic relationship between animals and people? Symbiotic anything? Because we have a symbiotic relationship with plant life, like trees. See? Because we breathe out carbon dioxide, but they breathe in. You know, trees breathe. They convert carbon dioxide back to oxygen. So if you got rid of all the trees, devils who cutting trees down and forests and all that, because those great forests in Africa and South America, those are the lungs of the planet. Those are the lungs. That's why they put it. Those are the. It was two of them. It's like we have two lungs. Those are the lungs of the planet. And they cut that stuff down. That means the air quality goes down. That means your thought quality goes down because you need air for oxygen to breathe, to think. You need air. That's why I tell you don't eat before you go swimming, because you deplete your body of oxygen because all in your stomach. So therefore, your muscles need oxygen to work. And then you deplete it, so then you demand the oxygen, you can't get it, you cramp up. And the same thing will happen to your mind. It's slowing people's minds down because the air quality is going down. Did you know that Farrakhan? You know that Silas? You know that seventh angel? That's why it says God will have destroyed those who destroy the earth. Because that in itself is lowering your mental capability. If you in any place and the oxygen goes down, you go to sleep, right? Because your brain can't function. They slow the oxygen down, you start getting more drowsy. And that's why the world is being dumbed down, because they're getting away all the foliage and the oxygen levels are dropping. They ain't telling you that. They might even know it. Did you know Farrakhan? That's the first time I even revealed that. I never revealed that before. So much stuff I can tell about, I can't remember everything, but I don't think I've ever to that before. That's why that's dumbing down the planet. That's affected by it. That's why he had Michael Jackson. He didn't know he was doing, walking around with a oxygen mask. See, because just like they're selling you water now, if they kept going, they're going before after I'd be selling you oxygen. Because you'd be so dumb, you can't, you'd be sleeping time all the time. So I got oxygen to keep their function. You think I'm joking? When I was a child, nobody thought about selling water to anybody. Now, if you want to get water worth anything, you got to buy it. If you think that water is pure, you out of your damn mind. See? But so for they deplete oxygen, that's what's happening. It's a symbiotic relationship. They don't understand it. They're destroying the planet. You need all that for it. You need to live around a lot of it. So to keep oxygen, that means you think better. Faster. You know, oil and topsoil. You notice that soil got oil in it? Soil, S-O-I-L. Did you know that? Because they're from the same source. Same thing produces both of them. Decayed organic matter. Over millions of years, so you find the place where they got the most of it is, those places was paradises. Because they had a lot of animals. That's why you say 40 Arabians desert. That place is really a paradise. It was a paradise before we covered with sand, protected 50,000 years ago when they ran us out of there. So when we return, the place would be pristine. All that oil in there tells you that that place got a lot of topsoil, because what produces oil, where you find oil, you're going to find a lot of topsoil, because the same thing produces both. Oh, we ain't going back over there, sand, because under that sand, that's why the Bible tells you we can get a machine that blows away mountains, and we can blow away that sand because we put it there. It tells you the place used to be a paradise. That's why all that oil is there. That's why so much oil under there. We covered 50,000 years ago. Under this, tons. America almost run. That's why Europeans came out and took everything, because they had depleted all their topsoil. Nothing would grow out topsoil. They were starving to death, so they went and took everybody else's. Then now they turn to America. America's low on topsoil now too. Somebody went 6 states. They won't grow anything. Maybe 2 or 3 years, they won't grow anything. Maybe it's like in Europe. How do you think they're growing over? They're not growing anything over there much now. Where do you think they're getting the topsoil from? They tell you in Russia that Russia's giving all this fertilizer, the great producer of fertilizer in the world. Why do you need fertilizer and topsoil? Before Russia, how was they growing stuff? They was growing stuff, but they use it up. So now they get into Russia. They give them Africa. They're paying these over there, they're giving their topsoil. They can grow over here, and then they have famines over there. Both produce the same thing. Arabia is rich in topsoil. Yards and yards deep. See? Both produce the same. Did you know that Farrakhan? You know that Silas? You know that Farrakhan told me, we have a race, we're going to stay in America and get those 6 days. Do you know that topsoils run out? That's what you lead them to? A barren land? Farrakhan? Exposing your dumb ass. What about the 5 mathematical? I know you heard about the 5 pillars of Islam. What about the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam? The underlying principle behind it. Did you know that Farrakhan? You know that Silas? Eric? 6th and 7th angel? You saw Yahweh bin Laden, or whatever his name is? Right? I'm not going to go through it, but that's the mathematical principle behind all of those things. So you know them, but you don't know the principle behind it. So you can't be really effective with it. I think we pretty much, oh, okay, a few more things, brothers and sisters. I said it's going to be a while here. Okay, the moon. Do you know why the moon is connected with the female cycle? Do you know why it is, Farrakhan? Can you explain it? Why the female cycles connect to the moon? Why is that, Farrakhan? Why is that Silas? Why is it Eric? I can tell you. Can you tell us? Why? You're the one. You ought to be explaining all these things. You know what a star is, Farrakhan? Do you really know what a star is? I mean, you look up there, but you know what it is, the principle behind it? How it came into being? What it does? That's what the Bible says. The stars are our treasuries, because stars is what produce atoms. They only can produce atoms in stars. They can't produce atoms here on Earth because they can't produce the pressure to form an atom. That's why they can't do fusion. They're trying to come up with some kind of, what they call it, clean fusion. I forget what the name they call it, right? They can't do it because the pressure, you need stars. And the bigger the stars are, that's why the universe contracted to the size, like the Quran says, the universe, the heavens and earth were one. And then we expanded. So the devil's called the Big Bang, says it came inside of Adam. No, the Quran says it came inside the earth. So that means the earth was a gigantic star in the beginning, and that's why you have all the elements, right, that's in the earth, because the earth produced all of them because it was the greatest star ever. No other place in the universe had that happens. What's a star? A star is our treasure, because that's where we produce all these elements, gold, silver, all that stuff. You produce them in stars. Okay. So we have all of them on the earth, but we also use those. We can also get gold and silver. That's what we do to make planets. We got trillions of planets out there we made. I'm not going to the core of the earth and all the different spheres and all that kind of stuff. That's no, I mean, so many things I can talk about, bro. So I'm just giving you the short list of things I know. I say, I'm teaching mathematics, I'm teaching Islam. I said I broke the 7 seals, so I had to be able to prove it. So let you see what, I put my hand on the table, I put my cards out, put yours out. See who got the best hand. Stars. We made the stars. They are treasuries. They produce all the elements that we need for those stars. We don't take and make stars from the earth. We use that. We have to, those planets out there, we have to take stars, take and produce the material, then we blow up the star, take out the material. Okay, fusion. What's fusion? I talked about fusion earlier. What's fusion? There's 2 processes. Fusion is, that's what stars do. They fuse materials. The sun is a small star. It's a really small star. It can only fuse helium, which is just 2 protons and neutrons together. But you need a star being 10,000 times bigger than the sun to produce something like uranium. So I can't do it. It's too weak. See? But it wasn't supposed to do that. See? So here's fusion. This is the way fusion works. See? And the core star, so much pressure, you can fuse them together. I'm not going to get into how it produces neutrons and all that kind of stuff. I got a presentation out to explain, so like I'm trying to talk my way out of it. I got a presentation out to explain how neutrons are created in this process. How protons are created also. Now fission. Fission is the opposite. Fusion pushes together, fission There's two types of bombs, a fusion bomb and a fission bomb. And this is the way fission works. See? It's unstable. Well, here we go. It's unstable. Hit. Poof. That's a fission bomb. The fission bomb to ignite a fusion bomb. That's the process. Did you not Farrakhan? You're doing fission and fusion. Seventh angel. And here is, did you know about ellipses? They're like circles, right? A circle is a perfect ellipse. But the sun, the earth goes around the sun. Do you know why? The earth is, hey, ask you a question. Ask Farrakhan. Ask Silas this. Ask him, is in summer, is the earth close to summer? Is the earth close to the sun in the summer or in the winter? Ask that question. Ask, is it close to the sun, earth, in the summer or the winter? Which one is the closest? See, because most people say, oh man, it's got to be closer during the summertime. No, it's further away in the summertime. It's closer in the wintertime. That don't make sense, but that's where it is. But I can show you, but I'm not going to it. Listen, I guarantee he's going to tell you that, oh, it's got to be close during the summertime because you don't know shit. Well, you do know shit. That's all you know. See? But this is, they give some devil some, but obviously we knew all this stuff, right? But it says it sweeps out equal space and equal time. See? So when it goes around, it's 365 days to go around, but when it's further away, right, it moves slower. When it's close, it moves faster. The closer Earth to the sun, the faster it moves going around it. The further away, it's slower, it's moved. That's what that's showing you right there. I'm not going to go into it, but it's perfect. The math is perfect. See, when you understand the math universe, it's very simple math. And I have a saying, simple minds complicate and complex minds simplify. So if you got a complex mind, this is simple to you. But if you got a simple mind, like Farrakhan and Sa, it's complicated. They don't know any of this stuff. I guarantee you, you give them a test, I guarantee they fail probably on every point. On every point. Now show me to be a liar. It's the same thing right here. See, when it's closer, it's got the same amount of area that is when it's further away. Because if you all say the same area. If you calculate the area is the same, right? But it's moving faster, right? When it's closer, to get that. It's moving faster to get that, and slower, okay, for the same time period. So in other words, if it's moving at for an hour, right, in an hour's time, right, it has to move faster to get that area, right? In 1 hour, it has to move faster, right, to get the same area over here as it does to get the one on the left. If you add the areas up, the area is going to be the same area. All A's means the area is the same. And the time is the same. It's just the speed is different. Same area, same time, it's just speed is different. See? And that's significant. I'm not going to significant stuff. It's the same thing shown here. And you see, as close to the sun, that means it's winter. But further away from the sun, that's summer. Oh, okay, that's it, brothers and sisters. That's it. I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. That's some other thing I want to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about it right now because I want you to let this sink in. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Ask them. They say Islam is mathematics. Mathematics, Islam, so they should know some of this anyway, shouldn't they? I guarantee they don't know most of it. So what are they teaching? They're not teaching mathematics. Because I'm teaching mathematics. I'm showing the mathematics about everything I talk about. I have presentations explaining the mathematics, everything I talk about, how thought works, how unity works, how pressure works, forces, okay, how the 5 fundamental principles of Islam work, consequence, hard cost, the cost of horror, explain all of it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. We're going to leave it there. Okay.